So this class is designed to open up your hamstrings, but we're also going to be strengthening our wrists, shoulders, and hip flexors and our core strength so that we can start to work into some more focused handstand drills towards the end of this class. So if you are feeling pretty open in your hamstrings and want to just jump straight forward to some of the handstand drills, you can always go there and use those as a reference, but there's a lot of stuff buried in this class today that's going to help to strengthen all the pieces that go into a handstand. We're also going to be working into our splits today as well, Hanumanasana. So if you're working on getting your splits, this class is for you. So we're going to start class today in a child's pose. You can start with the knees close together to find more of a release in the low back, or you can separate the feet a little bit wider apart. Start by walking the hands out long in front of you, and then release the forehead down onto a block or the mat. I have my fingertips tented here, searching for more elongation through my side bodies. But if you like, you can relax them down onto the mat. Think about taking a deep breath into the upper, middle, and lower back. And a big exhale, softening every muscle back in around the spine. Eventually, start to walk the hands to the right, placing left palm on top of the right. Take a deep breath in all the way down the left side body. And as you exhale, sink equal weight of the sit bones back towards the heels. Inhale, eventually start to walk the hands over to the left. And exhale, place right palm on top of the left, releasing the forehead down. Deep breath into the right side body. And exhale, let the hips sink back towards the heels. When you're ready, you'll inhale, walk the hands back through center. As you exhale, let the hips weight themselves back towards the heels. Inhale, gaze forward, and exhale, come to a tabletop position on all fours. From here, we'll cross the right shin over the left calf and sit back. This is pretty intense, so I've created a little distraction for you. You'll reach your arms forward in front of you and draw the shoulders back into the sockets. Squeeze the palms into a fist and release. And then start to pick up the pace. And it might start to seem a little silly like jazz hands or spirit fingers, but you'll start to feel the forearms firing up. We're strengthening the wrist muscles that will support our handstand practice. So keep breathing. Allow the shoulders to relax. Take about 30 reps or 10 long breaths, and then release. You'll come back to tabletop, turning the palms to the right and left and sway side to side, just massaging and stretching through both the extensor and flexor muscles of the wrists and forearms. And then stop in center. This time cross left shin over right calf and sit back. Good. We'll take one more set of reps. You'll reach the arms forward, draw the shoulders back into the socket, and start to squeeze the hands and release. And pick up the pace. You'll want to slow down as the burning starts to happen in your forearms, but try to keep the pace and always draw your awareness back to the breath. Notice if you're holding any tension in the facial muscles. One more deep breath in, and exhale, shake it out. Come back. You can take the same wrist exercise as before, hands right and left. Or if you want to go deeper, flip the fingers to face the knees. Keep the heels of the hands down and sit the hips back to start. This is a good stretch. Eventually, you'll want to get into the fingertips because the forearm muscles connect to the fingers. So you'll peel the heels of the hands back, sit back. It should feel really good. And then gently come back. This time flip to the tops of the hands, fingers still point in. Round a little through the upper back and sit the hips back, stretching through the tops of the wrists and forearms. When you're ready, flip the palms back and then cross your legs, coming into a comfortable seat, Sukhasana. We're going to start by sitting nice and tall here. So walk your fingertips behind you and think about lifting up through the chest. Good. Next, inhale, sweep the arms overhead, lengthen through the side bodies. And as you exhale, reach the arms and chest forward, and then release the forehead down to a block or chin to chest or forehead to mat. Take deep sips of air into the body, lower back and hips. And big exhales, softening deeper into the stretch. Again, my fingers are tented, but you can relax the hands down. When you're ready, you'll gently sweep the torso back up. And then you'll crisscross the legs the other side, which might feel funny if you don't cross your legs this way often. Sit nice and tall. And then inhale, sweep both arms up overhead, finding length. As you exhale, reach out and forward, eventually letting the head and neck release. Take deep sips of air into the upper, middle, and lower back, breathing deeply into the hips as well. Now, if you notice a huge disparity from one side to the other, just take this information in and take more time on this side as you do in general. Another round of breath. And then eventually start to walk the hands back. And we'll come back to our tabletop position. Tuck the toes. And we'll find cat-cow. So as you inhale, you're going to lower the belly, lift through the heart, peeling the chest open, cow pose. And then exhale, round and curl through the spine, chin to chest, cat. Inhale, slow movement, shoulders draw back, cow pose. Exhale, round and curl, navel zips up and in through cat. Inhale, lift through the gaze and tailbone. Exhale, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. One more cow pose, deepest breath in. And as you exhale, round into your cat pose, press all the air out of the lungs. Hold here. We call this shoulder protraction, pressing the shoulder blades away from one another. You're going to hover the knees 2 inches. The hips will want to sink back. Keep them forward over the knees, shoulders over wrists. Try not to let the shoulders collapse. This is great for strengthening to build up to handstand press one day. Building the shoulder and core strength. One more deep breath in. Exhale, lower the knees and sit back, child's pose. If you want to flip your palms up this time to get a deeper stretch under the armpits and side bodies, feel free to do so. Deep breath in across the upper back. And exhale, release. You'll flip the palms face down if they're up, gaze forward, and then come forward, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, downward facing dog. Feel free to find some exploratory movement here if you want to pedal out the dog. Eventually, we'll all arrive in stillness here, maybe bending the knees, lifting the hips a little bit higher. And then as you lengthen the heels back down, think about contracting through the legs to take some of the weight out of the shoulders and wrists. So maybe even flex the toes towards the shins, shins flex up towards the kneecaps, thighs flex up towards the hips, pulling the thigh bone into the hip sockets. Keep integrating all 10 knuckles down into the mat. Take a deep breath in and a big exhale. Good. Gaze forward, step to the top of the mat. Feet are hip-width distance apart. And then we'll come into our ragdoll pose, grabbing opposite elbows and relaxing the head and neck down. You can wiggle the shoulders, shake out the head and neck. And then eventually we'll find a little sway side to side, keeping that bend in the knees. Now, if you want to eventually take this sway a little bit bigger, you'll start to sweep all the way up to the right, stopping at the top. And as you exhale, back down, sway right and left all the way up. And exhale down, swaying right and left. Release fingertips down to the mat. Inhale, find a halfway lift. And as you exhale, step all the way back to your high plank position, firming through the thighs. Deep breath in. And exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. Good. Untuck your toes and zip the big toes to touch. Bring palms of the hands under the shoulders. And then inhale, peel the chest up, lengthening through the back of the neck. Keep pressing through the pinky toe edges of the feet, and maybe try testing hovering the hands, really strengthening through the spine supporting muscles. You'll lower the forehead, tuck the toes, contract the thighs, and then tuck the tailbone down to zip the belly button into the spine. Press into the hands, and then inhale, high plank, modify with tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Cleansing breath in, filling up all the way. Big exhale, emptying out. Another round, inhale. Exhale, emptying out. Next inhale, sweep the right leg high to the sky and think about keeping the toes pointing down. As you exhale, bring your knee to your nose and roll forward through so the shoulders are over wrists, and step the foot through runner's lunge. From here, we'll lower the back knee down, untuck the back toes, and then inhale, come up, Anjaneyasana, low lunge. This time, capture opposite elbows and draw the shoulder blades away from each other and down the back, creating space. Pubic bone lifts towards the navel. Then as you exhale, release the hands, plant them to frame the right foot. Tuck the back toes and lift the left knee. Hug the right hip crease back and contract the left thigh to level out the hips. You'll plant your left hand down on a block or the mat and inhale, sweep the right arm high, peeling the chest open. Maybe the gaze comes up towards the right thumb. Stay here or start to turn all 10 toes to the right, rolling to the outer edge of the feet. Stay here or take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, you'll lower the hips, gaze back and reach back, IT band stretch. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. This time, inhale, reach all the way up and over. Plant right hand inside the right foot and lower the back knee down. Coming into lizard pose, you'll untuck the back toes and bring forearms onto blocks or the mat, or stay up on your fingertips. You can stay here, or if you want to take a spinal twist, you'll reach around with the right hand capturing the top of the left foot or ankle. If you grab the ankle, flex the foot, kick into the hand, peeling the chest open more. And then as you exhale, you can point the toe and draw the heel towards your glute, using the strength of your right bicep. You can stay in either of these variations, just taking what you need out of the pose, moving into the spinal twist or the quadricep. Eventually, we'll release the foot, sweep the right arm back, and lift the back knee. To come out, you'll come onto your right tip toes, squeeze the right knee into the shoulder, and try to lift the right foot. You're using adduction of the inner thigh into the body. And then step back, downward facing dog when you're ready. Take a deep breath in, and a big exhale. One more inhale. Exhale. Inhale, sweep the left leg high, toes point down. As you exhale, left knee comes in towards the nose and round through the upper back as you roll forward, shoulders over wrists, and step the left foot between the hands. From here, lower the back knee down, and we'll come into Anjaneyasana, low lunge on the other side. This time you're going to go ahead and capture opposite elbow with the opposite arm in front. Draw the shoulder blades apart, not up towards the ears like I'm showing, and down the back. Keep lifting pubic bone towards the navel as you lunge deeper. Then eventually release the hands, plant them to frame the foot, and lift the right knee. You'll plant right hand down on a block or the mat. Inhale, sweep the left arm high towards the sky, peeling the chest open, still contracting that right thigh. Stay here or start to spin all 10 toes to face the left side of the room, coming to the outer edges of the feet. This might be enough of an IT band stretch, but you can also exhale, lower the hips and gaze back. Inhale, sweep the arm forward, straighten through the legs. Exhale, lower the hips, gaze back. Inhale, sweep the arm forward, straighten the legs. Last time, exhale, bend. This time, inhale, let that sweep carry you all the way around, planting left hand inside the left foot. And toe heel the left foot out on the mat. Lower the back knee, untuck the back toes. Stay here or come onto forearms or blocks. And then if you'd like to take a spinal twist or quadricep stretch, you can reach back with the left hand, capturing the top of the left foot or ankle. One option is to kick into the hand, peeling the chest open more, taking a very active stretch. And then as you exhale, if you want to take a more passive stretch through the leg, you can point the toe and use the arm strength to bring the heel closer towards the glute. You might notice one side is a lot tighter than the other or more open. That's normal. Eventually release the foot, bring the hands back inside the left foot and lift the right knee. Squeeze the left knee into the left shoulder, lifting the heel. Try to lift the foot and then step back, downward facing dog. Take an expansive inhale here. Big exhale. Another full breath in and out. Start to roll forward into your high plank position and then gently lower all the way down to the belly. You're going to reach your arms out long in front of you. Palms can be on the mat, or if you have blocks, place them on them at any height. Take a deep breath in here, keeping the elbows straight, big toes touching. And as you exhale, press into the blocks and start to lift the chest. Now, when you lift the chest, it's easy to sink into your flexibility. So think about zipping the low ribs off the mat and in towards the back. Really engage through the deep abdominals. Keep pressing through the hands and press the tops of the feet down into the mat. Eventually, on an exhale, find a release. You can rest your forehead on your forearms. Deep breath into the low back. Big exhale. To come out, you're going to plant your palms underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, firm the thighs, and transition through either high plank or a tabletop. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in through the nose and a big exhale. Another full breath in, full breath out. Next inhale, you're going to float the right leg high to the sky. And as you exhale, step the foot through the hands, find your runner's lunge once again. Reach the heart forward in space, step the back foot in, and plant it down at a 45-degree angle, setting up for Parsvottanasana pyramid. Now I like to have hands on blocks to bring the ground up to me, but you might want to use a block, wedging it under the calf to micro bend the knee if you tend to hyperextend, or you can slide a block underneath the ball of the right foot for a deeper stretch, flexing the foot. We'll all inhale, take a halfway lift, lengthen through the spine and spin the inner thighs back, and exhale, fold. You can also walk the fingertips back for a deeper stretch. Breathe into the low back. And as you exhale, continue to work the right hip crease backwards in space, left hip bone forward. To release, we'll inhale, walk the hands back, finding our halfway lift. You'll ground the left hand inside the right foot on a block or the mat, or perhaps outside the right foot for a deeper stretch. You'll take your halfway lift and inhale, peel the right arm towards the sky, finding Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolved triangle. Continue to find length through the spine as you find rotation through the middle spine. Deep breath in. And exhale, release, right hand down. Gaze in front of the right foot. Start to shift weight forward into that foot and come into a standing L shape. Imagine stamping the foot to the wall behind you and square the toes down. So I demonstrated them turning out. You want them to point down. Good. The ribs might drop. Draw them into the low back. Good. Try to relax your right standing toes. Keep firmness through the right thigh. Deep breath in. And big exhale. This time, inhale. Exhale, bend the left knee, tucking it behind the right, Jiva squat. Inhale, re-extend the leg. Exhale, Jiva squat. Inhale, re-extend the leg. Exhale, Jiva squat. And this time, hold here, lifting the chest higher, maybe releasing the hands back, or palms to heart center, really firing up that right hamstring. To release, we'll find standing splits. You can have hands on blocks or the mat. And you want to keep that left hip bone squared down and release the gaze behind you, letting the crown of the head release to the mat. If you want to try to test your balance, maybe bring one or both hands to the ankle. And don't worry about handstand just yet. We'll address that later. Just work on the stretch here. To release, plant the left foot down on the mat. Feet are hips width distance apart. And we'll find Padangusthasana. Take your peace fingers, wrap them around the big toes, placing thumbs on top of the toes. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. You can microbend the knees if you need. Elbows can splay out to the sides and gently pull you deeper into the stretch. Don't forget to breathe all the way into the low back here. To release, we'll inhale, find a halfway lift. And exhale, step back to our high plank position. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Up dog as you breathe in. Down dog as you breathe out. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Another round. Inhale. Exhale, empty out. One last round of breath. And exhale. Inhale, float the left leg high. And as you exhale, you'll step the left foot between the hands, finding a runner's lunge. Step the back foot in, planting it at a 45-degree angle. Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. You have your block options, hands on blocks, block under calf, block under ball of foot. Choose what you need. We'll inhale, find a halfway lift, spiral the inner thighs back. And exhale, start to fold deeper. Let the head and neck release, so the gaze should fall back. Your fingertips can walk back. Soften through the belly and firm through the fronts of the thighs to find a deeper stretch through the backs of the thighs. Let the jaw even release here. To come out, you'll walk your hands back forward. Find a halfway lift. Right hand will plant on block, mat, inside the left foot or outside the left foot for a deeper stretch. Keeping the halfway lift, lengthen the spine. You'll inhale, start to spiral the chest open to the left. Finding Parvrita Trikonasana, revolved triangle. Really tap into your internal and external obliques to create this action. Deep breath in, maybe gazing up towards the left thumb. And exhale, release the left hand down, framing the foot. Gaze forward, shift the weight forward, come into your standing L shape. Back leg should be parallel to the mat, perpendicular to the standing leg. Again, I just demonstrated turning the foot out. You want the toes to actually point down. We'll all take a deep breath in here. And exhale, firm through the left leg. Inhale here. Now as you exhale, bend the right knee, tuck it behind the left, Jiva squat. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend, Jiva squat. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, Jiva squat. Last time, inhale, reach the right heel back. Exhale, find your squat. And then maybe reach the hands back as you lift the chest up, or hands to heart center, really firing through that left hamstring. To release, we'll find standing splits, bringing the hands onto blocks or fingertips to mat. Let the gaze fall to the wall behind you and that right hip bone roll down, squaring the hips. You can take whatever variation you did on the other side or treat the side according to what it needs. Always find the breath wherever you are. To release, you'll step the right foot down, about hips width distance next to the left, and we'll find gorilla pose, Padahastasana. You'll slide the palms of the hands under the feet like shovels. Bend the knees as much as you need to get the toes to the wrist, so you can massage the wrist with the toes, and then fold into the stretch. You can bend through the elbows to bring yourself deeper, but think about lifting the shoulders away from the ears, creating space in the neck. Sort of like a turtle is bringing its neck out of a shell. Deep breaths into the low back. And an added challenge to release, you can try to lift both hands out at the same time. Plant the palms. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step back, high plank position. As you inhale, shift forward, chaturanga. As you exhale, up dog as you breathe in, and down dog as you breathe out. Always move at your own pace. Take a cleansing inhale. Cleansing exhale. Grounding yourself here with the breath. Take another full breath in and another full breath out. Next inhale, float the right leg high to the sky. And as you exhale, bring the right knee to the right tricep, still round through the upper back. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, knee to left tricep. Extend the leg and plant the foot. You're going to lower all the way down in this L shape. Maybe walk your forearms to the mat. Or maybe if you're feeling really open through your IT band, you'll lower all the way down and reach your arms out to a T. Feel free to capture the foot. Your gaze should fall right if you're lowering all the way down. And a modification here is to microbend either of the knees or both. This is a fairly deep stretch. Take deep breath in. Big exhale. Another round of breath. Inhale. And exhale. To release, walk the hands back under the shoulders. Press into the hands, lift the hips, right knee to nose. Inhale, right leg high, and start to walk the hands back towards the left foot, drawing right knee into chest. And then bend the left knee to come up to stand, grabbing for the right shin. Now you're going to grab either the outside of the foot with your left hand or the outside of the knee and find a twist to the right. You might decide that you want to extend the leg if you're grabbing the foot and maybe reach the right arm backwards in space. Finally, maybe you'll trace your gaze back towards the right thumb. Think about rolling the outer right thigh down, leveling through the hips. See if you can relax the standing toes on the left foot. To release, you'll bring your gaze back forward, bend the knee, and plant the right foot on the mat. Inhale, sweep arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana, and exhale, fold. Walk the hands back, down dog. Deep breath in. Big exhale, grounding down. Inhale, roll forward to a high plank position. Coming into Vashisthasana, side plank, roll to the outer edge of the right foot. Plant the left palm down and extend the right arm towards the sky. You can modify by lowering the bottom knee or add on by taking tree pose or capturing the right big toe with the right hand and extending the leg. Think about pressing the sole of the left foot down into the mat as you lift the hips. And then to release the foot if you have it. And take an optional vinyasa. We'll all meet back in downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and float the left leg high right away. As you exhale, knee to left tricep, protract through the shoulders. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to right tricep. Extend the leg, plant the foot, and then you'll lower the hips with the belly facing the mat. Maybe come onto the forearms if it's accessible, or extend the arms out to a T, perhaps capturing the left foot with the right hand and bringing the gaze towards the left hand. Take full inhales all the way into the upper body and full exhales emptying out. If you need to micro bend the knees, remember that option is always available to you. This is the same thing we did standing, but grounded on our bellies. To come out, plant the palms, lift the hips, and draw the left knee to nose. Inhale, left leg high, and walk the hands back towards the right foot. You'll bend left knee into the chest and bend the right knee to round up to standing, finding our balance and focusing our gaze at one point. Again, you'll capture the outside of the left knee with the right hand, or perhaps the outside of the left foot, extending the leg. You'll start to find your twist, maybe reach the left arm back, or the gaze back, testing your balance. The stretch we've been doing before this is the same position, you just don't have to be balancing on one foot. So you can always start there if you're working just on the flexibility. To release, gaze forward, bend the knee, and plant the foot down. Inhale, sweep arms up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, walk back, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward to your high plank position. Roll onto the outside edge of the right foot this time and reach the left arm up overhead. Try not to let that right arm sink in towards the ear. Press into the right hand and take any variation or modification you did on the other side. Keep pressing the sole of the right foot down towards the mat. Lift through the hips. Deep breath in. As you exhale, release the foot if you have it. Find your plank and either take down dog or a vinyasa. We'll all meet in down dog eventually. Center yourself around your breath. On your next inhale, float the right leg high, and then exhale, step it all the way through to your runner's lunge. Lower the back knee, and then sit the hips backwards in space, stacking them over the knee, coming into your half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. Good. You can inhale here, taking a halfway lift, and to pull that right hip back a little more, maybe find a twist over to the right, placing your left hand on the mat, block, or ankle. And then fold forward again, keeping the hips nice and square. Good. We'll do a little strengthening exercise for the hip flexors, your psoas. This will be good for our handstands later. If you don't have blocks, place your hands on the mat. It is a little bit more challenging. We're going to start by protracting through the shoulders, and then you're going to lift the right foot up towards the face. Try not to let the shoulders collapse. Zip the navel in, and then lower the foot. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, relift the right leg, pressing into the blocks or mat, really squeezing through that right hip flexor, and then lower. From here, you can fold deeper into your splits or half splits. If you're taking full splits, think about keeping the shoulders stacked over the hips the whole time. This is so that the hips stay square and don't open out to the side. If you need to slide a block or a pillow underneath the right butt, you can. Then you can release fingertips down. Otherwise, start to lower all the way down. I have my back toes tucked. It's hard to see here, but just to help square my knee down. Then I'm gonna twist to my right to pull that left hip bone forward in space. Now, everyone asks how to get their splits. The truth is, one of the best ways is to just be patient and hold the stretch for longer than you normally do in a typical class. So just find the breath, see if you can relax the shoulders down the back, take any referred tension in the face and neck out, and relax those muscles. You can untuck the back toes if they're tucked as well. These are just measures to help with alignment. And to come out, you're going to place your hands back down and very slowly come out. No quick movements here. You'll rebend the right knee and come to your runner's lunge, stepping back to downward facing dog. Right away, we'll go ahead and inhale, lift the left leg high to the sky. Exhale, step it through, find your runner's lunge. Lower the back knee down and shift the hips back, finding Ardha Hanumanasana half splits. Good. Hands can be on blocks or mat. You can fold over the leg. If you want to work on squaring the hips, reach the heart forward and find a twist to the left, feeling that left hip crease peeling back, right hip bone pointing forward. And then gently refine your fold. You might fall. Just refine your balance. So we'll start to move into that psoas hip flexor exercise again. Start to walk the hands back. If you have blocks, place your hands on blocks. You're going to round over the left leg and protract the shoulders, so press the back of the heart towards the sky, channeling cat pose. Inhale here, and then exhale, lift the foot, drawing everything in, navel, thigh towards the face. Deep breath in, try not to hold the breath, and exhale, lower. Good. Inhale here. Exhale, second set. Lift the left foot off the mat towards the face when you're ready. Good. Try to really engage through that left hip flexor. Should be pretty challenging. Then lower when you're ready. So coming back into your splits, try to keep shoulders over the hips as you lower, as a measure to keep the hips nice and square, just like we do in our low lunge. Good, and if you want to place the block underneath the left glute, you can. And eventually you'll lower all the way down. Again, my back toes are tucked here, just to help square the right knee down, but that's not required. Good. To work on squaring the hips even more, maybe find a little twist wherever you are, half splits or full splits, pulling that right hip bone forward, left hip bone back. Keeping the hips where they are. If you want, you can start to bring the gaze back to center and take any variation you like here. The important thing is to try to find the breath. Become aware of all the places you might be holding tension or strain. And through that awareness, see if you can release the tension in these places. Deep stretches require patience and time, and especially a deep pranayama practice. Good. Gently come out. Runner's lunge as you inhale, down dog as you exhale. Deep breath in. And exhale, lower the knees. We're done with our hamstring section of class. So you may have noticed this is an hour-long class, but it's only 50 minutes long. This is because for the next section of class, I'm going to offer you drills, a lot of different ways you can help build a stronger handstand practice, and different variations as well. But I want you guys to spend as much or as little time on each of these drills as you like. I'm just giving you the pieces to get started. So you can hit pause, practice the drills for several reps, and then move to the next section. Also, don't forget to do any important extra stretching or relaxation after this is over. These are challenging drills, so take your time and also take time to cool down. This first exercise is to help correct any overarching of the low back in handstand. Start by laying on your back, soles of feet planted on the mat, and grab a block or similar sized object between the hands. Good. Inhale, reach the block overhead, press into the feet to seal the low back down, scooping the belly in. Draw the shoulders down towards the mat. And then as you exhale, reach the block overhead, squeezing it between the palms, and stop once you start to feel the low back wanting to arch. As you exhale, reach the block forward, bring it onto the tops of the thighs, and press thighs into block, block into thighs. Again, try not to arch the low back. You control how difficult this is. Good. Lower the feet. Inhale, arms overhead, shoulders draw down. Exhale, reach over, squeezing the block. As you inhale, bring the block back forward in space, placing it back on top of the thighs, supine tabletop, and find your press. Navel draws in. And then eventually you'll start to lower the feet back down. Inhale, reach the block up overhead. Exhale, shoulders down and reach the block overhead, squeezing the block. Navel draws in. Inhale, reach the block forward. And then exhale, place it on top of the thighs, finding this deep core exercise. Doesn't look like much, but it should feel like a lot. Good. Gently lower the block down and the feet. And then you're going to extend the legs out long in front of you. Reach both arms overhead like you're in handstand shape. Maybe flex the hands. And then you're going to tuck the tailbone again. Try to seal the low back down and lift just the upper body. And imagining you're in handstand, no arching of the lower back. Still breathe here. And then as you exhale, release. You can let the spine find its natural shape and curvature. Good. A few more reps like this. Seal the low back down, it's subtle. And then crunch up, really contracting through the thighs, the core, but relaxing the face and breathing. And exhale, release. Last rep, you're going to contract the thighs, seal the low back down, belly in, lift up. Keep pressing through the hands, really important. And then as you exhale, gently release. Hug the knees into the chest. And just rock side to side, finding a little release. I like to take a supine twist here as my release, but you can do whatever works best for you. Just return to the breath. Feel free to take more reps than that if you like. For this next exercise, you'll need a towel-sized piece of fabric. We're going to strengthen our psoas or hip flexors and help to also correct any overarching of the low back. Place the towel between the thigh and the body. Plant the palms down. You'll notice I just demonstrated the elbows wanting to splay out to the sides. Try to straighten through the elbows and keep the gaze between the hands. From here, shift the weight so that the shoulders stack over wrists, hips as high over the shoulders as possible. And then you might start to find a few hops, trying to not drop the towel. So it's sort of like a game. Don't drop the towel. Now maybe the top leg will stay straight or bent. I'm demonstrating what happens intentionally if you drop the towel. So you'll notice the back overarches. So by keeping that towel hugged in, you'll go ahead and keep that length in the lower back. So continue to find a few more reps on your own, maybe trying to find a little hover. Again, try not to let the elbows splay out to the sides, and keep squeezing through the hip flexor. Maybe you decide that you want to try straightening both legs, but also still holding onto the towel. You can try that as well. Now, we all love to do one side that's our favorite side, but the key to being good at handstands, just like anything in yoga or in life, is to do both sides or experience both halves of things. So you'll plant your palms and you'll start to shift into the other side, shifting shoulders over wrists. You'll notice that having more stretched out and lengthened hamstrings allows you to stack the hips and shoulders higher over the wrists than when the hamstrings are tight. So doing the previous exercises and flows is a really great warm-up. Continue to repeat a few more times on your own. For this next exercise, you'll need to move to a wall. Start by measuring out the distance between your body and the wall when the legs are extended. And then remember where that distance is with your hands, or place a marker there. Good. You're going to gaze between the hands, spread the fingers nice and wide, grounding down through the knuckles, and start to walk the feet up the wall. You're going to start to walk the body into an L shape so that the hips are stacked right over the shoulders. This is a really intense core exercise, and it's important to make sure that your hands aren't too close to the wall so that you're not overarching the lower back. Try to hold for 10 seconds and then walk the feet higher up the wall, coming to the tops of the feet. From here, you'll lower the hips so that your body is in one straight line, facing the wall. But try not to arch the back here. Imagine laying on the back and doing that core exercise that we did where everything draws in. Good, keep squeezing the inner thighs together. Hold for 30 seconds. And then when you're ready, you'll start to walk the feet back down to meet the hands. You'll need a ledge for this next one. A chair or a sofa will do. Plant your palms down on the mat or the ground, and then step the feet up onto the ledge. You'll walk the hips over the shoulders and adjust accordingly. You'll start by drawing one knee into the chest and then the other, hugging them in, engaging through the hip flexors. Try not to lift the knees higher than the chest. Good. And then eventually, with control, come back. And then continue a few more reps, seeing how long you can hover. Advanced add-on is knees to chest, handstand, knees to chest, lower feet. If you're working on your handstand press, try this. Good. You're going to start by taking a forward fold. And we're going to find the same shoulder protraction that we did earlier in class and throughout this lesson. So you'll plant your palms down and round through the upper back like cat pose. Start to shift the weight forward into the hands and then let the feet pop out to the side. You'll shift forward into the hands like you're falling, and then the feet will come back to center. Try not to hop here, just let the natural lift using the psoas strength and shoulder protraction guide you. A more advanced option is placing blocks outside the feet, gazing between the hands, rolling forward, coming up to the tippy toes, and hovering up over to the blocks. You'll come out the same way, rolling forward to lower. And you'll take as many reps as is comfortable, but be mindful of the shoulders. You don't want to burn them out or compromise the shape. This next one is probably my favorite drill. It's how to learn how to float to the top of the mat. You'll see here I'm demonstrating just the forward and back movement that we usually find naturally. But in floating, you need to lift the hips up and down as well as you move forward and back, trying to get the hips a little bit further over the shoulders. You might get a little levity and airtime there. And you can take this by straddling the legs and gently lowering down, And also you can do this in a piked position. But the goal is to slow down and control your travels from the front of the mat to the back of the mat and the back of the mat forward. So we'll go over this fun exercise. It's sort of like a game. You'll need to find a second mat or another object with a little bit of height that you can hop over. I like the second mat because it's the same width as my mat. I'll place it down near my toes in down dog. Now I'm going to demonstrate a few things not to do. We're going to hop over the mat, but you want to keep the legs straight. So this is me bending my legs. Don't do that. Second thing is, if you straighten your legs in the air, you don't want to land with straight legs because that's really bad for the knees. So don't do that either. In order to get straight legs over, you'll have to lift the hips higher, and then you'll land with bent knees. The straight legs forces us to find that stacking shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, and adds that up and down motion that we don't have when we're just jumping forward and back in space. So over time, you'll move the mat further forward. I would start by just moving it a few inches at a time. Breaking it down this way will have you floating to the top of the mat before you know it. This is just a final note about how many handstand drills there are out there, and that these drills just touch on a lot of different levels of handstand practice. So take what you need and come back to the others later. Given the variety in the drills, think of this as a little mini diagnostic test to see where you need to work.